All right, now on next with us is the legendary Paula Jean Swearengin, running against Joe Manchin in West Virginia. Paula Jean, I don't know what you're doing. You somehow have got this amazing momentum, and I love it. You're going up in the polls. Manchin's underwater. He's under 50% already. Yes,
no kidding.
Yes, okay. And Paula Jean had one of the most successful Reddits of all time. Reddit AMAs, Ask Me Anythings, and the list goes on and on. So, Paula Jean, welcome back to the Young Turks. It's great to have you.
And tell us. Thank you for having me back.
Yeah, tell us about the state of your race. Where are we at right now, and what you're doing to take down Manchin?
Well, I think my biggest disadvantage is everybody knows Joe Manchin, and even though I've been a well-known activist throughout the years, he is a very strong incumbent and a well-known senator in West Virginia. So I'm pretty tired right now because I have been going everywhere I can to get my name known. One of my mentors, Ken Heckler, he was a congressman here and he was Secretary of State and he was a true public servant for West Virginia. He said he wore out 3 pair of shoes. I've wore out 1 already and I think I'm probably going to beat him and wear out a little bit more. But that's my only disadvantage. Everywhere I've went, people like me. They're ready for a real public servant. They're ready for the working class, to represent the working class. And most people that I run into, they say they're just going to vote for me because they're tired of Joe Manchin.
Okay, and talking about her momentum, she's already raised over $112,000. If you want to help, jdems.us/Paula-Jean. And yes, we got to get your name out because unfortunately these incumbents have huge name recognition. That's their #1 advantage. But luckily you've got a great name. I mean, nothing screams America more than Paula Jean Swearengin. It's wonderful. So, but you know, Manchin always claims, oh yeah, I represent the coal miners. Does he represent the coal miners, Paula Jean, or maybe the coal mining companies?
There's a clear difference between being a friend of the coal industry and being a friend of the coal miner. And the most important thing to come out of a coal mine is a coal miner. Joe Manchin has a record of voting against miner safety. He doesn't care about the people in the surrounding communities around coal mining operations. Me being a coal miner's daughter, I spent many years of my life begging for clean water, begging for clean air, and begging for prosperity. And it's just not happened for West Virginia. People here in some areas live in impoverished conditions comparable to a third world country. Mother Jones organized in Cabin Creek, and not too long I was out there with a reporter, and the roads are inaccessible, the water's polluted, and people are living in unimaginable conditions. We've dealt with decades of Joe Manchins, and we've seen high-wage manufacturing jobs and mining jobs evolve into low-wage service jobs. But during that process, they've put public health and safety last. That's why I'm here today, is because I got sick and tired of begging our incumbents for something so basic as a clean glass of water. We're not enemies here in West Virginia. They've spent a lot of money to divide us. As much money as they've spent, they could have cleaned up our water, but they haven't. They choose to side with the industry. And Joe Manchin has sided with the industry many, many times. He acts like he sides with coal miners, but me as a coal miner's daughter and burying most of my family to the coal industry, I shouldn't have to beg for something so basic as a clean glass of water.
Yeah, and I had Joe Manchin on the show, and he said something curious. One of his top donors unfortunately put pollutants into a waterway, and he had voted to deregulate pollutants in waterways. That seemed to be an amazing coincidence to me, and I asked him about it, and he said that he doesn't know who his donors are. Do you believe that, Paula Jean?
No, I don't, because he's mentioned who his donors were in the past, and that was the streamlined protection rule. Many activists have fought long and hard for that regulation. Just as soon as Donald Trump was elected, him, Shelley Moore Capito, and Evan Jenkins signed off our water protections. They weren't enforced. It was like a parking ticket to the coal industry, but at least we had something. It was a bad, bad day for West Virginia when the three of them stood with Donald Trump and threw away the work that we had worked for years. And why should West Virginians have to write our own legislation and beg them for clean water? That, it's a shame to me that these men sacrificed their lives. The Industrial Revolution was built on the backs of coal miners, their families, and surrounding communities. When people have turned on their light switch, it's been because of the blood of my people. We have sacrificed a lot to power America, and we don't deserve something so basic as a clean glass of water. And then it's insulting that he doesn't say he doesn't know who his funders are, because he sided with his funders, and it's been the industry, and it's been Mylan Pharmaceutical and Big Pharma, and his second top donor is Mylan, and his daughter's the CEO. And we're dealing with one of the biggest opioid epidemics in the United States. He actually ignored some legislation that cut the hands of the DEA. Him as our senator, him and Shelley Moore Capito, and us dealing with the drug epidemic here, they should have never let that legislation go through and ignore it. He seems like he's doing his job now. He's done more, I think, in 2017 than he has in the last 10 years. I have to credit Justice Democrats and all of our hard work for that. It's just a shame he wasn't working hard and a lot harder than what he is now, because we wouldn't be where we are now, because the people of West Virginia are fed up with the leadership here.
Can I just ask, Joe Manchin famously challenged people to run against him, progressives, when progressives wanted to meet with him, and he was very dismissive. And he said, if you don't like me, primary me, right? Did he say something close to that?
He was more than dismissive. He said, if you don't like me, vote me out. If you don't like it, primary. He's been very arrogant. I can remember one time at a town hall, you guys seen the video, I had to get an IOU at the tolls. I found out last minute that he was in Charleston. It was about 45 minutes from my house. I thought maybe I'll go one more time and talk to him and beg him. And he was arrogant then when I told him we wanted clean water and clean air and clean and safe jobs. He said we'd have to agree to disagree. And there were coal miners in the crowds. There was coal miners in the crowd, and he pointed to them and he said, these men need jobs. So he basically told me he didn't care that my family had died like they had. He didn't care if those miners had clean water. That was his rebuttal. Jobs, jobs, jobs. Well, I have news for him. We want it all. And the coal miners were out in the parking lot, and we were talking about solutions, and we were talking about how to help West Virginia and come up with solutions that would benefit West Virginians. And he's not been doing that. He's been serving the coal industry.
Yeah, I just can't believe that it's too much to ask for not for everything. We don't, nobody's asking for everybody in West Virginia to have a mansion and a yacht, right? To just ask for two simple things: jobs and clean water. It's just, I can't believe that's too much to ask for. So, and if your senator can't deliver that, why is he your senator? And I think that's the heart of what's going on here. jdems.us/Paula-Jean if you want to help Paula. By the way, if you're in West Virginia, go volunteer, go help in every way you can at paulajean2018.com. So Paula Jean, other than clean water and jobs, what else are you fighting for in this campaign? Why'd you get in? What are the issues that drive you?
We're fighting for Medicare for all. We're fighting for a living wage. We're fighting for good educational opportunities. We're fighting for a platform that'll actually benefit West Virginia. We want a diverse economy. We want wind, we want solar, we want to manufacture those in West Virginia. We have dealt with a singular industry-based economy. And through my travels, I've traveled to the Panhandle, and I've traveled to areas like Weirton, and they're dealing with fracking and the pipelines, and they're going down the same path that we have in the coal fields. And they don't have a plan B, but nothing but a singular industry-based economy. And what their plan is, and what I've heard, is gas in the coal fields too. And that's just not enough anymore. last weekend, I was at a slurry impoundment. It was the Brushy Fork impoundment. It's 7.9 billion gallons of coal waste, liquid coal waste, sitting over the head of Whitesville in Boone County. Those impoundments are sitting all over West Virginia, and I don't think that we should be sitting with big old lakes of poison over our heads either for temporary jobs. I've witnessed mountaintop removal. Jim Justice, our Democrat, Republican governor, is putting silica dust in my kids' lungs every day. Enough is enough. Even a coal miner deserves a clean glass of water, and every child in Appalachia deserves the right to prosper. And as a mother, just like many mothers in West Virginia, I'm tired of worrying every day if my children would have cancer. And I'm tired of asking my children, since they're 24, 20, 19, and 16 now, when they get older, I've asked them to leave. I came back to West Virginia after living in North Carolina when my stepdad got laid off in the coal mines because my mother wanted to come home and die here. And we came back to help take care of my grandpa. I buried my father at 54 years old. My stepdad, he's got black lung and he coughs up a lung every day and has heart disease and has had open heart surgery. And most of my uncles have black lung, and I don't think that's the price to pay we should have to live in the mountains. The mountains are is the most beautiful place in the world to me. This is my home. My family settled here with the Cherokee Indians. And I think it's our right to want to stay here and to live here and to prosper and have clean water and join mountains. And, I think my children deserve that too. And we've been so divided. Like I said, they've spent a lot of money to divide us here in West Virginia. I think they underestimate us because our ancestors fought many labor struggles and won, and that's not going to end in this generation. I want to see a Democratic Party that was established with Mother Jones, Joe Hill, and the miners of Blair Mountain. Our system has failed us, but they have underestimated us, and we're not going away.
Yeah, I think that you have a great point about how people perceive West Virginia. So other states are allowed to have incredible industries and Silicon Valley, et cetera. And then Pittsburgh wound up having a wonderful industry around the internet. But when it comes to West Virginia, they feel like everybody keeps saying, and even your own senators keep perpetuating, no, the only thing you can have is coal jobs. And if you have coal jobs, you've got to take the slurry with it, and we got to remove the mountain tops, and we have to give everything that the corporations want to them. And then if it trickles down to you, and it trickles down in the form of toxic water, that's okay, because that's your fate in West Virginia. And I don't accept that fate, and I love that you don't accept that fate. That yes, you can do. There's no reason why the people of West Virginia can't do better and can't ask for more. I mean, and then you mention mountaintop removal. They keep arguing that no, I'm giving everything to the companies because they're going to create jobs. But doesn't mountaintop removal actually take away jobs?
You're right. It's through mechanization. We had, I think, in the 70s, 170,000 coal miners. On average, now we have 18,000 coal miners to a census of 1.8 million people in West Virginia. The jobs are not here anymore, and the market has projected that it's not going to rebound. And the cruelest lie that our incumbents tell is that coal is coming back. It's not. They're trying to get every marketable piece. They don't care how much they destroy our lives, and they're going to leave. And to these coal barons, it doesn't matter if that coal sits in those seams 20 years and they don't do anything with it, and they don't care if we starve. They're still going to profit whenever they can, but it's not happening for us right now. As an activist, I fought for clean water, clean air, and prosperity. And I listened to a lot of the big greens last summer say coal was over and it was supposed to be a victory, but it wasn't a victory to me to watch my neighbors starve and lose everything they have. That's what I fought for all those years. That's why I decided to take this path, is because we've not had any help, and we're tired of begging our incumbents for what we deserve. We've seen trillions of dollars go out of this state for coal, but we've not seen any kickback in our communities. We've been promised prosperity, but we're still waiting for it, and it's been decades. I'm 43 years old. I drank acid mine drainage when I was a little girl. My family chased that prosperity, and they suffocated to death in the process. And I don't want our children to suffer the same fate and live that legacy. I don't want my children to know the pain of black lung and cancer like I did when I lost my father. We deserve better, and we do deserve prosperity.
Paula Jean, 2018. Okay, Paula Jean, again, like Allison Hartson in California, you take down Joe Manchin, you change the world. I'm not kidding. I think that if you guys win in California and West Virginia, it shakes Washington to its core, and it gets people to think maybe corruption is not the right way to go. Maybe you can win with small donors. Maybe you don't need to give the corporations everything, and maybe people are tired of it. And then you set a path for 2020, and the whole world could be different in 2020. But it's super important that all these Just Democrats win, and especially the two Senate candidates, Paula Jean Swearengin and Allison Hartson now in California. And super proud to have you as a Just Democrat. Keep on fighting. I know you're tired, Paula Jean, but we can't have you getting tired, okay?
Well, you know what? I've been tired for years, but it's worth it. My children are worth it. I think every child in America is worth it. I cannot thank you enough for what you're doing and the work that we're doing and building the united effort that we are. It's so very important. My sister candidate, Cori Bush, I was out there in St. Louis not too long ago watching people get maced in the street. That's not a story. I've witnessed it firsthand. Genocide across this country. People deserve better, and they deserve real public servants. And I fully believe that the working class should represent the working class. This is not the America that we thought it should be. And these corporations have ruined a lot of lives, and there's a lot of corruption in America, not only West Virginia. And we're literally fighting for our lives. And I am so grateful for all of my brother and sister candidates and everybody with Justice Democrats that work so hard to try to build a better future for our children.
Paula, before I let you go, can I ask you, how do people reacting to your message? Your message of $15 minimum wage, your message of Medicare for all, your message of free college. How are people responding to that?
Most everybody's very responsive. I'll be honest with you. The most resistance that I've got is from established Democrats. I've had a lot of Republicans in West Virginia that's been on my side. They don't want us to interfere with their establishment, but that's just too bad because we are.
Okay.
I love the strong women of the Justice Democrats. Paula Jean Swearengin, Allison Hartson, Cori Bush, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez against Crowley, Rosa Calderon, and the list goes on and on. You guys are amazing. Keep fighting out there, Paula Jean. I know that in a sense that a lot of the country's waiting with bated breath to see what you do in West Virginia, and we put a lot on your shoulders. But I think you can carry it, and thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Thank you for fighting.
Thank you so much.